Good morning, all my fifth graders. So today we're going to look at the Roaring Twenties. And unfortunately, we are not in school during the Roaring Twenties, which was going to be one of the chapters that you all probably really enjoyed. So unfortunately, we're going to be doing it virtually. And we're just going to go through this information kind of like we would if we were in class. So let's start up here at the first paragraph. So it says economic growth after World War I. So many times in the class we've talked about what the word economy talks about, and in this sense it's no different. So economic is obviously dealing with money, so put a little money symbol there, and growth obviously is talking about the money in America growing. A lot of times in history you see after a lot of wars that the economy in America does grow. The United States went through what is called an economic boom, and we can look over here to see exactly what an economic boom is. Obviously, economic is talking about money, and a boom is going to be a growth of something, in this case, economy or money. And it is a growth, a period of quick growth. So this didn't just happen over time. It happened all of a sudden. So we went through an economic boom during the 1920s. Americans were optimistic about their future. Optimistic means that they have a good outlook about their future. People opened up new businesses, factories increased production rates, and hired more workers. Americans earned higher salaries and bought goods such as the automobile and other innovations. This is kind of like, just a circle. People are starting to make money. Right here it says Americans earned higher salaries. And so obviously this is going to cause those people to buy a lot of things. And if people are buying things, if consumers are needing a product, then the production, the manufacturers are obviously going to make more of these things. And so not only are the workers getting more money, but as well as the factory owners all across America. And so this is what brought on that economic boom. It was a time of prosperity and change across America that became known as the Roaring Twenties. And you have probably heard that term, Roaring Twenties, before, and not even just in my classroom. So let's look at the word prosperity. Prosperity is going to mean wealth or financial success. So if you're prospering, you are growing, you are getting the things in your life that you need. So let's do growing. All right, so developments in entertainment. So one thing that you will see in your history classes, no matter what time period you're talking about, is that when a civilization, an empire, a country is doing well in their economy, then things that aren't essential start to grow. In this instance, we're going to talk about paintings, literature, and if I'm not mistaken, music. So those are three things that you see grow in any civilization if they're having an economic boom. So it says the 1920s and 30s were important decades for American art, literature, and music. New art forms were created and Americans discovered new sources of entertainment. Paintings. So Georgia O'Keeffe was an artist known for her urban scenes and later paintings of the Southwest. She created well-known paintings of scenes as different as New York skyscrapers and New Mexico desert landscapes. She was called the mother of an approach to painting called the American Modernism. So she created a new style of painting during this time. Literature. F. Scott Fitzgerald was a novelist who wrote about the Jazz Age of the 1920s. The Jazz Age was a time of exciting and inventive new culture trends, including jazz music and dance halls. So we're going to highlight jazz music and dance halls were created during this time. Fitzgerald's best known novel was The Great Gatsby. Like Fitzgerald, John Steinbeck was regarded as one of the greatest writers of the 20th century. He was a novelist who portrayed the strength of poor migrant workers during the 1930s. Of Mice and Men and the Grapes of Wrath are among his classic stories. And then we have music over here. Aaron Copland and George Gershwin were composers who wrote uniquely American music. Their work was so brilliant that it drew millions of Americans to musicals, operas, and other works. As their music was heard around the country, many fellow musicians began to copy their style of music. This caused new forms of music to evolve over time, and Americans got to enjoy even more styles of music and entertainment. So it just kept growing and growing and growing. So if you all will work on the quick review, right now it says identify the artist and write his or her name or names on the line. So it says my books tell of the strength of poor migrant workers. I paint landscapes of the city and of the Southwest. I'm an author who writes about jazz age in America, and the music we compose is uniquely American. So that's going to be all for today. I will come back in a day or so and create another video that finishes this chapter. If you have any questions or need any assistance, please let me know on ClassTag or on Google Classroom. See you later.